Okay, kids, it's time for another episode of the Fueled by Weird podcast, the only podcast broadcasting live from somewhere between a glitter storm and the rainbow dimension. So turn it up because it's about to get truly outrageous. My name's Chris Daly, and tonight I'm thrilled to be joined by Samantha Newark and Bettina Bush. Ladies, how are we doing tonight?
Hi,
Doing great.
we're doing great. Hello,
Good, I'm so
everybody out
glad.
there. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for being here. I'm very, very excited. It's kind of funny because, Bettina, you and I talked over email recently, and I talked to Phil and Dawn, the two that are putting on Retro X here in a couple weeks, and I mentioned that. So my idea was to try to interview as many people as I could before the convention, so people could kind of, tune in, get to know you guys before they meet you. And I was telling Phil, I'm like, did anyone else reply? I just want to make sure we get everyone that wanted a chance. I was really hoping to be able to talk to Samantha and Bettina. And then the very next day, he forwarded me your email. So I'm like, we manifested it. This is amazing. It was
I'm so
awesome.
happy that you manifested it because I love any chance I get to hang out with Samantha.
I know, right?
Awesome.
We have to tell the
The
viewers
story.
the story.
Please, please do.
you tell-
Please
Do
do.
you know our origin story of our friendship?
don't. Please go ahead.
Okay, do you want to start? It actually happened somewhere over a rainbow.
Yeah. So I'll start. When I was 14, I got the lead in The Wizard of Oz in LA. And I was a part of this wonderful production, and with Munchkins and the whole thing, and my ruby slippers. And I didn't know it at the time, but Bettina was one of the Munchkins. I didn't draw the. So now you tell.
That's
So
incredible.
I was a munchkin. So I was I was in elementary school. I was little, and I had so much fun on that set because we were so enamored with our Dorothy. And we just thought she was so beautiful and such a great singer and such a great actress. But most importantly, she made us feel so special. And she was so kind. And she always made us feel like we were important and we weren't just, little munchkins. We were like a big part of the cast and we were bringing the heat and all of the stuff. And to know now, I mean, looking back, like there aren't that many people in the business that you can recall like that
Yeah.
that treat people that way. And it was Samantha Newark. And she
That's
still
awesome.
treats people that way.
That's
And
awesome.
she's still like that. And it's just so great to see somebody, who has awesome character and who's kind succeed. That's
too. You're
fun to
pretty
look
darn
up to.
genuine. You're so sweet. It's just been a joy, and how beautiful that we have these epic children's cartoons that have brought us full circle. Like,
Yeah.
I just love that. It's so wholesome and sweet in all the best ways. I'm so happy to be a part of it.
Same here. It's nothing but joy,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
all the positivity. It's great.
It is. It's the best in people. It's their inner child, which
Yeah.
is the sweetest thing ever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
all
stories like that.
positivity.
Stories like that kind of make you think like, the world really isn't that big of a place. It's a pretty small world when you think about it.
It's true. It's very
Yep.
true, isn't it?
It is.
We're all somehow connected.
Yeah. And there's a reason why people feel connected when they hear the voices that they hear. There's a reason why certain personalities shine through and that people feel like as children they can connect with them. So I that was an important lesson for me growing up watching people like Samantha and a lot of the other great people that I've had the chance to work with. It's you can see what resonates with kids and a lot of it is authenticity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, that was a great story. Thank you guys for sharing that with me.
I have to track down my pictures because my dad was a photographer.
You do. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
and
I don't have anything.
Yeah, I've been going through boxes. I haven't found them yet, but I did find them about 5 years ago, so I know they're somewhere.
Yeah, I'm a
know that I
youngest
haven't.
child, and I feel like if I didn't have headshots, I wouldn't have existed. Nobody was taking pictures of me.
So funny.
Oh,
My
man.
parents were attentive and loving, but they took no pictures.
Right. They were like, I've been there, done that. That's so funny.
Yes.
Oh my God.
All right. So to kick things off, in addition to that great story, I usually like to start things off with an icebreaker question. So this is the tricky question I told you about before. Sometimes these seem like they're going to be super simple, and sometimes they're very tricky. So today's icebreaker question is: what is the earliest song you remember hearing?
Oh, I know.
Go ahead.
I Write the Songs by Barry Manilow.
Oh,
Oh
nice.
wow.
Okay,
I
that's a
remember
good
it. Wait,
one.
I had a little tiny record player and a 45 of I Write the Songs, and I used to listen to it all the time. I mean,
Oh, very much
Yeah.
constant.
so.
I remember being like 2 years old, like bouncing my little knees listening to that song.
Oh my God.
I loved it. And I think it's part of why I became a songwriter. Because I
Yeah,
truly do. I think that it really did. It inspired me.
yeah.
Very cool.
He was a prolific songwriter.
Oh my God, he's
Prolific.
amazing. He's amazing.
Yeah,
I love him.
Absolutely.
totally. For me, the one song that I remember from my childhood is it's by the Hollies, "Air That I Breathe." The
Oh,
air that I
nice.
breathe.
Oh, yeah, I love that
Yeah.
song.
Very
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
I haven't thought of that in so long. That's such a feel
yes.
good.
It is such a beautiful song. And actually, Katie Lang did a version of it like years and years and years later. She's one of my most favorite
I bet
singers
she crushed it.
ever. Oh, yeah,
Very
absolutely.
cool.
Yeah, it's just melodically, and it just brings me back to being in England when I was a little thing. It's
Yeah.
all the, so funny how the auditory just brings you back. Scents bring you back. Music brings
Yeah.
you right back. Yeah,
Yeah. It's like the
True.
moment all of a sudden you're in a time machine.
yeah,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah.
I think for me, one of the earliest songs I remember, there's two of them. One of them is kind of a weird one, the theme to Miami Vice, because my dad was a huge fan of that show, and I just remember hearing that song all the time. The
I
other
love that.
is "Walk Like an Egyptian" by the Bangles.
I
Oh
love that song.
my
That's a great
God.
one.
That one was on all the time, and I just remember that one. That was one of the very
That's
first ones I remember.
funny.
So good. I
Miami
love
Vice, I a little known fact, I sang Sheena Easton was on Miami Vice and I sang backup for her
yes.
when she was on Miami Vice.
Oh, that's
No.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I love
Very
Sheena Easton. That
cool.
was like the first one of the first concerts in America that my
I
folks took
mean,
me to. She was at the
my
Civic
baby
Center
takes
in
the
Santa
morning
Monica.
train.
Oh my God. My
Just
dad
saying.
would stop everything to listen to that song. She was amazing.
Her range was
Yeah.
insane. Like I think she was
So
one of the most
beautiful.
underrated singers. I mean, she
Yeah.
could hit a note like nobody's business.
Yeah.
For sure.
It was beautiful. Have you seen the documentary when she's becoming Sheena Easton? It was like a competition in England to find this
Wow.
person that they would nurture and put her, make her a record and everything. And she won it.
Oh,
Oh,
And
I
wow.
need to
yeah,
see
you can
that.
find it. It's like, yeah, I don't know if was she Scottish? I think maybe
Yeah.
she's
I
Scotland.
feel like she was Scottish. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You can find it on the interweb. It's
Very
pretty
cool.
cool. Yeah.
Very cool.
You can find it all.
It's true. Everything's
Except
there.
a lot of the stuff that we did in the 80s because it
I
wasn't
know,
on
right?
the internet.
Yeah, kids
But such
nowadays
Yeah.
always
rumors.
kids nowadays always say pics or it didn't happen, and it's like, well, it happened. We just didn't have pics, you know.
Exactly.
Right?
It's all rumors.
Or if we do,
Yeah.
they're in a box, right?
Exactly. A
Somewhere.
fireproof box somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. So the whole concept behind the idea of Fueled by Weird is, all the hobbies, interests you're into kind of come together to make you who you are as a person. So when you're not busy working, ladies, what are some of your hobbies, your interests? What are some of the things you do in your spare time?
You want to go ahead, Bettina?
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of spare time because I'm a mother of two teenagers.
Wow.
My
But
oldest just graduated high school, so I can totally relate.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they take up a lot of time. They're not driving yet, so I'm still everywhere all the time. But when I do have spare time, I love the beach. I go
Okay.
to the beach as often as possible, and I write. I do a lot of songwriting. Even when
Nice.
I'm not actually doing it for a project, I just do it because I just can't not. It's just a
Sure.
way of life for me.
Yeah.
And I love animals. I spend a ton of time with my dog. He's my heart. He's the best.
What kind of dog?
He's a German Shepherd Rottweiler mix.
Oh,
He's
he's
Oh,
a big
wow. That's
one.
He's
awesome.
a big
Big
boy
guy.
and he's a
Yeah.
big baby.
Oh,
And I always rescue my dogs. So
Nice.
he's a mutt and, he's got his little story. But he's great. And and yeah, just time with friends. Like I'm super cognizant of how lucky I am to have the support system that I have and my friends and my
Sure.
family. So I try to give them as much love as I can.
I love
Very
that.
nice. Very
Oh,
nice.
wow. You guys are heading to be empty nesters before too long, right?
Oh,
It's true. Yeah,
It's going to be a whole other chapter.
my youngest is a preteen, so we're about
We
halfway
got you.
there.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
strange.
yeah.
My nieces now have children. My sister has 5 grandbabies.
Oh wow.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. It's so
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's so great.
Yeah, life
sure.
life goes on. It evolves in that
It's
beautiful
true.
way.
It's true.
For me, the same as you, the songwriting thing, I am immersed in it like all the time. It's my heart. I started as a singer, and then in my 20s, I went to see Tori Amos, or I heard Tori Amos, felt like she was reading my mail, and I kind of discovered my songwriting heart in my 20s, and I've been doing it ever since. So that's a big part of my daily thing. I live with my mom. She's in her 80s. She would never know. She's beautiful and wonderful. And since she lost my stepdaddy, we lost my stepdaddy. We do a lot of stuff together. Spend a lot of time with my friends. We've got a lovely, wonderful support system, wonderful friends here in Nashville, which I'm so grateful for. And I really like, people are always asking, have you seen the new Netflix show? Have you seen the new, no. I am really into I'm just going to say it, the whole cryptid thing and the paranormal.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it. I subscribe to all the channels. I actually I go to a lot of Comic Cons. Bettina can relate to this too. We go as guests of Comic Cons, but I actually want to go to a cryptid Comic Con and meet the people, Martin Graves and David Politis from the Missing 411 and all of those people. I love uncovering truths and that type of thing. I'm fascinated.
Cool.
So
That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah, cryptids are super interesting, and I'm
Yeah.
kind of on board with you. I'm not so big on the paranormal. My wife is kind of the paranormal, but cryptids, yeah, big
It's
time.
so interesting.
Big time.
Yes.
We actually the doctor who was one of the leading experts on Bigfoot actually lived about an hour away from here.
Wow.
He just passed away recently, but
Wow.
yeah, his work was very, very interesting. I have one of his books. It's very, very interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to this world than we probably have any idea, and I'm here for it.
Absolutely. I'm here for all the weirdness. All the weirdness.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I want to do things a little different than I normally do. I want to come up with I have a couple of fun facts I want to talk about, and I usually like to, try to talk to people more than just, the thing they're known for. Just I like to talk about some other things that are associated with them, just that they might not normally always have a chance to talk about. So first thing, Bettina, I was reading about you, and your father was the first African American graduate of the U.S. Air Force. I want to talk a little bit about that because that's super awesome.
Thank you. That's so funny. Your timing. My son just returned last night from Washington, D.C., and he went to go visit the memorial of my dad at the Smithsonian, at the African American Smithsonian.
I saw that picture. That was awesome.
Did you?
Yeah.
So my daughter went 2 years ago for her 8th grade trip, and then my son just went last week. But yeah, my dad was he was raised on the campus of Howard University, and at 14 years old, he was appointed by Chief Justice Earl Warren to the Supreme Court as a page. So he was the first Black page on Capitol Hill.
Oh, that's cool.
And then he went from there to becoming the first Black graduate of the Air Force Academy in '63. And then he went on to get degrees from Georgetown and from a Harvard MBA. And he was an incredible man. But most importantly, he was an awesome dad. We were best friends. I talked to him every day. I was such a daddy's girl, and I still am. He passed in 2012. But he was the epitome of, the guy who was the first to get to the party and the last to leave the party. He was a lot of fun, had a lot of stories, but also had one heck of a work ethic. and taught us about excellence and how you really had to work for what you have, and that meant really putting your best foot forward every time. And also the fact that he was, when he was in those positions, he was literally meeting people who had never shaken hands with a Black person, who had never met a Black person. And I had the opportunity to meet some of those people. I went to his 45th reunion at the Air Force Academy, and I will never forget, this gentleman came up to me. He said, "Charlie was the first Black person I ever actually knew." And
Wow.
and because he showed me, a kid from the South, that there was far more about us that was same than was different. I changed all the points of view that I was raised with, and I
Wow.
understood, that there was so much common ground, that we weren't so different. And my dad always signed off all of these emails with a quote from a poem called The Bridge Builder. And he really did see himself as a bridge builder. And he taught us,
Sure.
that you need to be the light, you need to be the example. You don't have to beat people over the head with what you believe. You just have to show them in action, the what good character means. And that, if you were scared of someone like me, or you were, had a prejudice against people like me, well, let me show you who people like me really are. And maybe that will make you want to embrace us.
Definitely.
So that was, my dad was awesome. Thanks for bringing him up.
Yeah, absolutely.
What a legacy. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that's why a lot of what I do is based around, acceptance and diversity and celebration of differences. And my
Sure.
book, and all, everything. Once Upon a Rainbow, the album it's all about, you gotta write your own story. You gotta own who you are, and you just gotta shine in whatever way God made you to shine.
Yeah.
And kill the noise. Don't worry about, somebody calling you weird, or somebody calling you, different, or, being afraid or intimidated by, or you don't, whatever, that none of that matters. You were blessed the way that you were blessed, and you just need to not stifle that. You just need to write your own story and be magnificent in your own way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, all the
Well
weirdos do all
said.
the cool stuff now. So I mean, embrace being weird, man. That's the fun part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
For
being
sure.
authentic.
Absolutely.
Yep.
That's right.
Absolutely.
There's so much power in that.
For sure. All right, Samantha. So I found out about you, also kind of related to military and acting. You were cast in the title role of the United States Navy band production of Annie.
Yes.
Let's talk about that
Yeah,
for a little bit.
I was. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think. Oh, Commander Ned Muffley was the musical director. This huge orchestra. I used to do a lot of singing with big bands when I was a child.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm sure Bettina can probably relate to this too. There's nothing like standing in front of an orchestra and feeling that behind you. Just incredible stuff. But yeah, excuse me, I auditioned for Annie along with oh my God, 500 other little Annie hopefuls.
Every other little girl.
Every little girl. And I was obsessed with Annie. Like I was 10 and I was so obsessed with her. There was a commercial that used to come on for Broadway. It was an I Love New York commercial, and they were featuring Broadway casts that were on Broadway at the time. And one of them was Annie. And if I was in bed tucked in and I heard the commercial coming on, it was like, I love New York. And then see the Annie cast, like, I love New York. I would get out of bed and I would hightail it to the TV because I was so obsessed with Annie. So when the audition came along, I wanted to be Annie more than anything. And I got the lead. I got Annie. And Martin Charnin, who's the lyricist for Annie, was always scoping up, Annie's. And there was the Broadway production going to London. And I had just come from London and I still had my British passport. So it was kind of perfect, except I was already getting too tall. Uh-oh. And because Annie's have tiny shelf lives. And that's why they keep getting younger and younger. Now they're like 8. Like, why do they? Because they want to get as much mileage out of Annie's as they can.
Sure.
And I was already almost 11, but they flew me to New York anyway, and I auditioned with the Daddy Warbucks and did a dance audition and whatever else I had to do. And then rehearsals weren't going to start for 6 months. and they said they wanted me, but they knew that I was going to grow. And it was my first massive showbiz disappointment. I was so sad. Because I wanted to, to go to London to be Annie, but I got to do so many other amazing things. It's so funny how life, you go, show business is so weird. It's like the trajectory. It's like you never know what you're going to be handed. And so I stayed in California, and I moved to California after the Annie thing. And got to do so many amazing things. I got to be Jem. Like, that wouldn't have happened.
I mean, hello.
Yeah. So that was a long answer to your question. But yeah.
No, you're totally fine. Speaking of that, I saw that you guys, have both got your start super early in entertainment industry at a young age. You guys have done music, you've done acting, you've done voiceover, obviously. When you guys originally, got into the business, did you get in for one specific reason, or were you trying to do one specific thing that kind of just branched off a bunch of different ways? How did that go?
I mean, for me, I started singing professionally when I was 7, and I kind of became the family business. And when we immigrated to America when I was 10, I was singing, and then it wasn't until I got an agent who kind of threw me into, like, do you act? It's like, my dad was like, just say yes, So I was like thrown out on the commercial circuit, and then I was like auditioning. I was auditioning for everything. Like, I screen tested for Days of Our Lives when I was like 13,
Oh, wow.
12 or something. And I screen tested for Michael Landon for Little House on the Prairie. I got to go to the set and like screen test for Michael, and I was obsessed with Little House on the Prairie too. That was a whole thing. That show helped raise me. I will always have such a warm, tender place for that show. So.
Sure.
Yeah, I was just kind of thrown into the on-camera world, and meanwhile singing, and then the voiceover thing with Jem just happened, and here I am talking to you now, and it's so wild, and then being in and out of a million different original music projects, over the years as a songwriter and a session singer and all of that. So,
very cool.
Yeah.
All right, Bettina, what about you?
For me, it was very much just I was creative and a performer. And however that was going to manifest for me, I enjoyed it all. So my sister and I started modeling when I was 2 in New York, because we lived out there. My dad was working on Wall Street, and then he got a job at Max Factor in California, in Hollywood, when I was 5 or 6. And so we moved to California. And when we got here, it was very much, oh, okay. So we moved to Hollywood so that I could be, in like the business.
Yeah.
I'm in kindergarten, but I already know what's going on here. So yeah, I kind of harassed them until they got me an agent and a manager, because I was literally that kid who, like, you'd be walking through the mini mall and I was putting on a show, and all of a sudden people would be standing around and I'd be like, and here's my next number. And they're just like, what is happening?
I'm a kid.
Right? It was just what I was, and I was just having a good time. Yeah. I remember, I'll never forget being on the playground once, and me and my friend got benched for something. And in order to get back at the PE teacher who benched us, we put on a show for everybody in the class. And once everybody finished running track, they were watching our show, and we completely derailed the whole class. It was hysterical. Oh my God, I don't think I've ever told that story.
That's amazing.
But yeah, so I mean, I feel like it just kind of snowballed. For me, the landing in voiceover was wonderful, because when in the 80s, when we were coming up, it's different now. Praise God. I'm so glad it's different now. But back then, being a mixed race kid, it was very hard to book on camera.
Sure.
And nobody knew where to put you. I wasn't Black enough for the Black families. I wasn't clearly white. I'm Native American, but sometimes there weren't any Native American roles to be cast in. So I'm not Latina at all, but my first job was a Latino Kool-Aid commercial. And then I started getting cast in these Hispanic roles, and I was like, okay, well, I didn't care. So I was learning Spanish because that's where I was getting cast.
Sure.
And And then, but it was never, I was always like close to being the best friend or, with all the on camera stuff, but it was never, they couldn't fit me with parents. They couldn't fit me with the family because nobody was going to give you a, white dad and a black mom or anything like that. So it was just kind of what was happening. So I happened to do a commercial that required voiceover. And when I did that voiceover, I was like 7 or 8 or something. And I was really good at it. And the director happened to be the same director that was casting the Littles for Deke. And Deke was just launching and Andy Hayward was just, starting, the skyrocket that was Andy Hayward and Deke. And so Wally Burr called me in for Lucy Little at Wally, right? Yeah. Called me in for Lucy Little. And from that point on, I was Andy's girl. And praise God, because I literally never went to school again. Like I was working my whole life because they just kept casting me in voiceover. And it was just, it was one thing after another. There was so much work that I literally don't remember things. People will come up to me at a Comic-Con and be like, "Oh my God, I remember when you did that." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I was on that show." And because when you're like 10 years old, and now, you're not 10 years old. Like you don't remember everything.
Sure.
So I was really fortunate because voiceover was able to keep me as a working creative and keep me as a working actress when there weren't roles for someone who looked like me. And I was super grateful for that. And I think that's why, when I got older and, in college and stuff, I really leaned into the music because it didn't matter what I looked like with the music. Sure. Although it kind of did when I was doing country music, but for the most part, I could just be me. And that was what I was trying to be. And so I didn't really want to, I never wanted to stop what I was doing. I always loved what I was doing. And I never wanted to limit what that looked like. And I still don't.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I love that we have Wally Burr in common.
I know, right?
Wonderful man. So great. For all the viewers that don't know, Wally Burr directed thousands of animated episodes. Like just a wonderful man, and clever and wise and sweet and all of the things. He was great.
Yeah. He was fantastic.
And for those out there who, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to say we have so much in common. It's so crazy. We really need to have like dinner or tea together. We haven't been able to do that yet. But I used to put on concerts for my friends when I was a little kid too, when I was about 6 or 7.
I don't doubt it.
They
totally see it.
And I would get in trouble. I would get, she's interfering with the recess, Yeah. And I often think like, who is that girl? I mean, I was fearless. And then you get older and then you're like, oh no, I don't know. You kind of start to, not bend the rules as much. But I love that you mentioned that because that's a really beautiful thing. It's like, we were just like,
you just go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I was going to say, for those listening who haven't heard of Deke before, there was a bunch of amazing cartoons back in the 90s and the 80s. You should go check it out. Google it. Most people who listen to the show are old enough to remember that, though. So I don't know if we have anything to worry about. Okay, guys. So now we're time for the main event, the thing that everyone's come to talk about, Jem and Rainbow Brite. So first of all, I remember you told me, Samantha, that canonically June 1st, and today is June 1st that we're recording this. You're not going to hear it until next week, but June 1st is Jem's birthday.
Yes.
So
yes.
Everybody,
the lore of the cartoon, like
yes.
Isn't that funny? There's an episode, I think it's called The Fan. It's a great episode, actually. It's really funny, and the Misfits are gaslighting Jem, saying it's your birthday, and they're throwing her these parties, and they're kind of directing her where to go, and she keeps saying it's not my birthday, like I don't understand, and they're all imposters, like impersonating people that she knows, saying, well, it's your birthday, and finally she's just had enough, and she figures out that it's the Misfits, and they're gaslighting her because they want to get her so tangled up that she admits that she is really Jerrica Benton. But it doesn't work.
No.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So the fans have told me over the years, that's Jem's real birthday is June 1st.
Perfect.
So, and it makes sense that she's a Gemini because she's dual,
there you go.
Jem and Jerrica.
What better way to celebrate?
Right.
Right? Exactly.
Absolutely. I feel honored.
Yeah.
I was invited to the
Absolutely.
party.
Absolutely. So what I want to ask is, when you guys were cast for Rainbow Brite and for Jem, were you given any direction on, what they wanted the voice to sound like? Did you get any kind of input on how you wanted the voice to go? I know, Bettina, you were pretty little when this happened. Um, but I just wasn't sure if, they kind of gave you specifically, this is what we want the character to sound like, or did you guys kind of get to put your own little spin on it?
Oh, I remember it so well. While I was working on Little Littles, and or it might have been the Get Along Gang, but I was working, and Wally Burr was doing the casting with Andy, and I think Marcia Goodman was there too, and they handed me a piece of paper, and it had a black and white sketch of a girl named Wisp, and it was Rainbow Brite in black and white, and they just said, "What do you think she'd sound like?" And so I just kind of, I was like, well, she doesn't sound like Lucy Little, like she did. And I just kind of did what I thought. And they gave me, like a couple paragraphs to read, and I read them. And then they gave me an adjustment. I remember the adjustment, and they wanted me to make her voice deeper. And so I made it deeper, and that was that. And so
Okay.
I don't know if they had been concurrently running other casting. I have no idea like what went down all around that story. All I knew was, oh yeah, I love this character. She's so great, and this is what she sounds like. And yeah, I can make her voice lower, and that was all she wrote.
So they kind of had a very specific thing in mind for how they wanted her to sound.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because she had to sound commanding. I mean, the girl
Sure.
is in charge of a lot.
Yeah,
Like
of course.
all the color in the universe. Like she
Yeah.
couldn't be, some little shrinking violet. And so, I had to bring the attitude, and I had to bring, the strength and the conviction and the confidence. And they didn't want me to sound too small. And I had been doing Lucy Little for so long.
Sure.
And then I think and Dottie Dog was like a cheerleader, so she was super hyper. And so she was none of those things. So I had to make sure that I adjusted her accordingly. And I did, and it was fun. And yeah, I love Rainbow Brite so much.
Very cool.
She's the best.
Very cool. All right, Samantha, what about for you?
I think that it's so funny when you do voiceovers. I just remember you really don't get a lot. They don't give you a whole lot. And maybe, all I do remember though is that Wally did not want us to sound cartoony. He wanted us to sound
Real.
Real, like 18 to 20, your older sister, so that kids will look up to us as like their older sister, their older friends or whatever. And so it was kind of like just bring your best teenage self. And I do remember when I walked in, I was too young to get into the clubs on the Sunset Strip at the time. And it was the 80s on the Sunset Strip with like Guns N' Roses and
all
the bands, and everything that was happening. And we were just like busting at the seams because we were too young to get in. But we would cruise Sunset at night, and we would watch all the older kids and all of the crazy clothing 80s, the men with
the Roxy and all, yes.
Oh yeah. And then so when I walked into the Jem audition, they had black and white copies, and they were all posted all over the walls of the different characters. And I remember having a moment like, oh my God, that's exact Pizzazz's outfit. That's exactly what I just saw last night on Sunset, like all the leather and the this and the ear.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it was so cool because it was like, I remember thinking, this is exactly what's happening right now. I'm so excited. This is so hip. And now it's like an 80s time capsule in the best way. But yeah, I remember.
That was so like, you just so captured the genius of that.
Yeah,
like it was, because it was 100% like why
really
we were all like, what a cool cartoon, because it captured it all. It really did.
It really did. It was a moment in time. And it's funny, I speak to people that, romanticize the Sunset Strip in the 80s. And to think that I was actually there and I was a teenager, I got to I didn't get to go into any of the clubs until I was older, but I was there for that moment. And it was a moment that still gets talked about clearly, obviously. It was very special. So and Jem was all wrapped up in that with the dawn of MTV and all of it that was happening. It was so fun. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I can speaking, when you said that they don't really give you much to go on. A couple weeks ago I got the chance to talk to David Fielding from the Power Rangers, and he said when he went in, they basically said, "All right, you're a 10,000-year-old wizard trapped in a time warp. Go."
Go.
That was all he had. That's it.
Okay.
I love auditions like that.
And he had said that, he was really big into Greek mythology growing up. So he's like, I bet this guy sounds a lot like, how Zeus would sound. So he just went in really deep and just really commanding and powerful. And he said that's what ended up doing it. So it's kind of
There's so many cool actors like that in this business. Like I remember just being in awe of some of them, like Pat Fraley. Oh my goodness. Like he literally, like they would just throw him stuff in the middle out of nowhere. He was almost on every show that I was ever on. And he would just like bust out these voices and you're just like,
yeah.
How did you do that?
Yeah.
I mean, and like a full character and just like 3 adjectives in a photo. And you're just like, it was such a masterclass growing up in the 80s with all those actors. They were just so gifted. And it was
knew how to play. Like, did you record ensemble?
Yes. I miss that so much. We don't do that anymore. I mean, the ensemble, that experience, I feel so fortunate to have had that because it was like you were doing a play, only nobody was looking at you.
It was like radio theater.
Yes, it was like radio theater. Yeah. And it was so fun.
And
you would like be all crazy and you do stuff and you'd be like, and I'm falling, and it was just like, and being a kid doing that, and watching grown-ups do it, you're like, we're all playing the same game. This is so great.
Yeah, I remember seeing, oh my gosh, there's one thing that stands out to me. Patricia, the voice of Pizzazz and Jem, she was known for her expletives when she would flub a line. And I just remember having a moment watching her like have this expletive meltdown. And I was like, you can do that at work? Like, I was just so shocked. Like, oh my gosh, they were playing and the playfulness and the fun. And then Wally would have to, reel us all in again. But I was just
that's like the first time I ever worked with Charlie Adler on My Little Pony Friends. Like, that's
I can only imagine.
Like Charlie and Patricia. Oh my God.
Like being thrown into the deep end of the pool.
Oh man, that would be so great.
Ginny McSwain and Charlie Adler together on My Little Pony and Friends. That cast. We had Reese Taylor. We had, that cast was unreal. It was so great. And Charlie was literally like, you couldn't, like, it was like one of those exercises in Saturday Night Live where everybody had to just get through without cracking up. Like you just had to stay in character, because he was just so funny.
So good.
Yeah, it was the best.
So good.
Oh man.
We were so lucky. We were so blessed. What a great time for animation. And we were in it. It was so awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Charlie. That sounds like a super good time.
Who's not?
Right? Exactly.
Charlie's the best.
Exactly.
So sassy.
So now I kind of want to transition a little bit different. So, with all of the world of reboots and reimaginings and reintroductions of characters nowadays, Jem and Rainbow Brite have kind of been reintroduced, generation after generation of kids, even, grown-ups, kids, and even, grown-ups nowadays, like, my wife and myself, we're showing our kids this stuff that we grew up on, just all the nostalgia factor, Mm-hmm. So how does it feel to be such a big part of so many young girls' lives? And, it just keeps, recycling, every generation. How does it feel?
It's young girls and boys.
And boys. Yeah, I don't want to leave anybody out. Yes.
I mean, I probably get reached out to by more boys than girls.
Sure.
It's magical. It's amazing. The funniest thing is like having my 16-year-old come in my room and go, "Mom, Megan from My Little Pony is becoming like a full-on meme. Like she's having she's having a moment." I'm like, "Wait, what?" Because I'm not on these things. I don't know, but she totally is. I had no idea. But it's. I mean, you feel just like honored and fortunate and blessed, and it's not something that you can take for granted because it's so special and it's so unique. And, I absolutely love the way that I grew up and the opportunities that I've had and all the way to the present. It's been a one heck of an amazing ride, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
I love that. It has been a journey. It has been a journey. Wow. I always think it must be so satisfying I get so many families coming up to my table at shows, and they are so thrilled that their young daughters or their sons are now Jem fans. And I have like 12-year-olds going, "Oh my God, I love the show so much." And I'm just like, how is this even happening? You weren't even born, you're 12. And yet they love the show. And we call it hashtag next generation. And
that's so cute.
Isn't that cute? You can't put a price on it. It's so sweet. And I can see the pride and the sweetness, the full circle with the moms and the dads, like I grew up with this stuff and my kids love it now too. And you always wonder if it's going to stand the test of time. And it's so beautiful because I think these shows not only had all of the fun, colorful, campy, cartoony things that you expect from cartoons, but they had so much heart.
Sure.
So much heart. And I think that's what connected with the kids to begin with. It's like an emotional connection to these shows. And
the music. We had great music. We had beautiful songs, well written with, they were like, the two albums that Rainbow Brite did, they stand up. Those songs are so good.
They're so
good.
And
I feel like, there was, Haim Saban was the person who was doing the music for Andy back in the day, and he became, one of the giants in the industry as well. And, it's like, you look at like the talent that was, and it was talent that was chosen for just being talented at what they were doing. We weren't cast because we were, in a movie. We weren't cast because, we were on a show because everybody knew who we were. We were cast because we were right
so
for the
many
part.
Followers on Instagram.
Yeah, we were cast because of our talent, because we were right for the part. And it was, and it was, it was really special that everybody was that way. And it was just it's a cool community. It's a cool legacy. And it's fun to continue to watch it evolve because it's still evolving. We're still out there and we're still, watching these resurgences and watching everybody, come back around and be like, "Hey, we still love you. Can you come out and see us?" It's kind of incredible.
And it's neat that you brought, speaking of Power Rangers, it's neat that you brought Haim Saban into it to kind of loop everything all back together.
Yeah. Like I just remember being a kid and like these people sitting down on the couch next to me being like, "Can you sing this song back to me?" Like it's Haim Saban.
Yeah.
And I'm just like chilling on the couch going, yes, the longer you sit with me, the longer I don't have to go back to set school.
Yep, exactly.
It was lovely that things weren't focus grouped to death, that we were kind of like, everybody had their role, the music department, the animation, the people were hired to do what they were really good at. And they were just kind of left to do what they do. And I don't think that I don't know if you get that today. I don't think you get that today because everything is so test driven. And there was a magic that happened when you just let people that are talented do their talented thing.
Yeah. Just let the creatives loose.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
All right, guys. So here in a couple weeks is Retro X, like we mentioned before. By the time this comes out, it'll actually just be a couple of days before. Retro X is in Idaho Falls on June 12th and 13th at the Elks Lodge. Make sure you go there, check it out. There's going to be lots of great people, including these two lovely ladies. I want to ask, have you guys ever been to Idaho before? If you haven't, is there anything you're looking to see or looking to do while you're here?
I don't think I've been to Idaho, but I may stand corrected because it's been a lot of shows.
That's fair. That's fair.
I was say the same thing. We probably passed through on a tour bus or something.
Right.
but I know my family lives in Montana, so I know I've driven through Idaho. But I don't. I need to look up like what's around. I haven't actually. I haven't gotten there yet. It's June 1st.
Right? And we don't usually get an opportunity to see things when we're there. But we're there for the fans.
Yeah,
that
we meet
is
the people.
Our mission. We're there to meet the 80s kids. And that's the joy of the whole experience.
Yeah. So for us, it'll be the people of Idaho Falls.
Yes.
I will tell you, there's lots of 80s kids here very, very excited to meet you, and they're very excited.
So fun.
It's gonna be
Bettina,
great.
I bet you hear this all the time, and we're like, oh my God, thank you for coming here. Nobody ever comes here, You're welcome.
That does happen a lot. We don't get a lot of big time people here, so it's very, very exciting to have you guys come.
Well, it's an honor to be invited, so thank you.
For sure. Now, before I let you guys go, I want to kind of just ask one thing that I ask everybody. What is a bit of advice that you now would give your younger self if you could?
Oh, gosh.
And either one of you can go first.
For me, I am really at that sweet spot right now. And the people that know me best know this about me. I have chased my tail musically for decades. I was in LA and I wanted the record deal and I was a session singer and I just got caught up in what's the next thing that sounds like it's popular? I can do that. And I really lost a sense of why I started singing in the first place, what was meaningful to me. And so my younger self, I would say, Sam, just be authentically you and do the music that speaks to you and lights you up, and let the audience be who the audience is going to be, because that part doesn't matter. It's all about just expressing your gifts and talents with the world, and let the rest take care of itself. I'm out of the results business at this point.
Oh, I love that. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. I think, gosh, for me, I think it would just be, advice for me. That's so hard because I feel like my parents had so much good advice and I really took it.
Sure.
I really listened to it. I think it's just, I was always burning the candle at both ends. And I really didn't stop to relax and smell the roses. I just was always going, which I enjoyed and suits my personality. Sure. But at the same time, I look back and I'm like, you could have chilled out a little bit. You could have taken a minute to, go on that vacation with your friends or take that trip to Disneyland. But I was always choosing to work. Yeah. But I got I love to work. I really just do. So, but I think looking back, it would have been okay. You still would have ended up in the same places. You still, just a little more tan, a little more rested.
Right.
That's good advice.
Maybe you've got to a few more concerts.
Yeah,
right?
Stop and smell the roses.
Yeah.
Good advice. Yeah. All right, ladies. So where can all the listeners out there keep up to date with what you guys are doing and what's going on in your lives? Where can they find you?
I'm really active on Instagram. It's Samantha Newark Official. And then I have my Everything Jem portal with my touring dates, which is houseofjem.fans. And then SamanthaNewark.com. I'm pretty easy to find. Just Google Samantha Newark and you'll find me there somewhere.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Samesies. Just, I'm BettinaBush.com, and Bettina Bush Official on Instagram is the best way to see what I'm doing and what I'm up to. And I'm not hard to find, and I'm happy to hear from you.
Very cool. Now for me, I want to take a quick minute to thank Polygon Horizon. Their song Pizza Force is the song we use for the show. I don't know why I say we, it's just me. Go listen to them, check them out. They're great guys. Go check them out on Bandcamp and SoundCloud. You can find Fueled by Weird on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. You can also send me an email at fueledbyweird@gmail.com. You can find the show on YouTube, Spotify, and anywhere you get your podcasts. I also have a Linktree. Go check it out in case you forgot any of the things I said just a minute ago. Check out my friend Hassel Hutchison. He has a show, the Nerdy Manroom Show. Channel is the Nerdy Manroom Show. He does Hassel's review as well, and he also does Card Subject to Change, which is a what if for pro wrestling. So if you like pro wrestling, go check him out. Big Rob's House of Entertainment, no Chinese food. Big Rob's another friend of mine. He does a lot of toy hunts, finds lots of good deals. Go check him out on YouTube as well. We make up the Stay Weird Network with our friend Monster. It's a podcast network dedicated to bringing some awesome back to the internet, because sometimes the the internet's not so great. And especially lately, the internet's not so great. So we want to try to bring some positivity to the internet, just like you guys brought lots of positivity to everybody's lives. You can check us out at Stay Weird Network on YouTube and Instagram, and check us out at stayweirdnetwork@gmail.com. Now, if you like the show, please leave a review and tell your friends, because word of mouth is my friend. And remember, kids, it's only weird if you make it weird. So make it real weird. Samantha, Bettina, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate
Thank you
it.
for having
You're
me.
awesome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank
That
you.
was so
I'm
fun.
looking forward to seeing you in a couple weeks.
Yeah. See you guys.